Hey guys, it is Wellness Wednesday, and I am excited to talk with you about wellness and have you really think about what you truly deserve in terms of the type of care that you receive from whatever health care practitioners you currently go to. This video is not to point fingers, to try to say that people are perfect, because people are not perfect by any means. But I think it's certainly important to consider what are your non-negotiables in terms of the type of care or lack thereof that you are currently receiving from your care team, or I don't know, everybody's situation is different in terms of who they go to see, depending on your health status. If you've been somebody who has been diagnosed with certain things, you might have a huge team of people, or maybe you feel like you need a team and you're lacking in that area. That could be a source of frustration as well. Hey, let me know that you're here. Put a 1 in the comments if you're here live right now, and let me know where you're tuning in from, whether you're in Pennsylvania or elsewhere. And I see Randy is joining. Hey, Randy, thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Appreciate your support, and would love to hear your thoughts on this subject today. So if you end up watching this later on the replay, then put a 2, and also let me know where you're joining in from. So I actually have some pink on today. I had this shirt for some time, but pink, as I think many of you know, is a color that represents breast cancer. If you've heard me speak before, you know I'm extremely passionate about cancer and autism and Alzheimer's, dementia, autoimmune conditions, the chronic diseases that are an epidemic in our country and also in other countries. So it's a US issue. It's also globally an issue, in some countries more than others. But let me know if you strongly believe, like I do, that we need a systemic change in order to help people get their health turned around. I have a little friend joining me. Say hello. She likes to steal the show. If you've seen my videos before, you have probably seen my cat, Gigi. She loves to be my sidekick, I guess you could say, when I'm doing work. So welcome to Gigi as well. So let me know in the comments if you have any pets. They certainly help in this crazy world and life that we live in. They're very therapeutic, and I believe very good for our health. So, all right, so let's kick off and talk about, again, the care that you are receiving for your health or lack thereof. Are you satisfied? Do you feel like you are getting the time that you need with your medical professionals? Do you feel like they know you and they hear you and they understand what you're dealing with? Are they really digging into your health history and helping you to understand better why you have the health problems that you do? And then in addition to that, do they have the skills and the time and the energy to spend time with you and figure out what are some extremely helpful strategies and tools to be able to help you? Oh, cat crossing again. My goodness. I think it's almost dinner time. I think that's what Gigi might be trying to tell me. Anyway, I just want you to reflect on that. Like I said, we're not going for perfection here. We're just overall trying to consider the type of care that we're receiving. Those who know my story know that I went 7 years going to a variety of different healthcare practitioners to try to help me get to the bottom of my chronic digestive issues, sluggish digestion, low energy. I often had extreme fatigue, felt like I needed to lean on the caffeine crutch to help me get through the workday. I also had some sleep issues. I also had joint pain and burning and swelling in my hands and feet that developed by the age of 30. And it was extremely frustrating to feel as though I was a number and that I was in one of those revolving doors where basically I felt like I was going around and around and around, and never being able to get out. And that is often, unfortunately, the case for a lot of people. My story, I've talked to many people, and my story can sometimes resemble very closely some other people's stories of very long periods of time that people were passed around in the system and were not getting to the roots of their health problems. And sadly, they ended up getting worse, ended up developing more symptoms, or worse, potentially passing away as a result of these health problems. So this is not a small issue by any means. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the hands-off approach. Do you feel as though your the care that you receive, is it hands-off or more hands-on? So are you partnering? Do you have a partnership with your medical professionals, your healthcare practitioners, or do you feel as though it very much is hands-off, and if you're lucky, they might know your name when you walk in for your appointment? Recently, someone I know shared with me that they went to a doctor's appointment, and this appointment was specifically to look at lung health. Do you think that the medical professional who was looking at the person's lung health, do you think that they took the time or listened to the person's lungs? Let me know in the comments. I'll give you a moment to chime in here. Do you think that this lung professional took time to actually listen to the person's lungs? The answer is a big fat no. And you might not be surprised by that, depending on your own personal experiences. So where have we gone in our system that people go to a doctor's appointment and they are not examined, they are not, again, there isn't a hands-on approach. Hands-on would be that the person, the medical professional, is taking time to listen to your breath, to listen for any signs of wheezing or labored breathing. I am floored sometimes too by the lack of looking in people's mouths. I have had kids in speech therapy. I remember one example specifically, a girl in her middle school years who a tongue tie was discovered in middle school. And I'm like, how on earth does a child go that many years without some professional noticing this extreme tongue tie that was impacting her speech, as well as it could have impacted her very much so when she was a baby and being able to feed and swallow properly. So it's just unbelievable. But at the same time, if these professionals are not actually putting their hands on, so to speak, actually taking time to look at the patient, and especially look at the patient at a deeper level, how on earth are we going to catch problems before they occur, right? And to help prevent some of these issues that people are having more and more, especially chronic health problems. The other thing is valuing productivity over people and their health. And I can tell you from working in the medical care system for a short period of time as a speech therapist, I learned very quickly that there was a productivity system. And as far as I know, that continues to this day. There's people leaving healthcare for that reason because they feel like a machine that is pushed to have extreme high numbers. I guess it could be compared to sales. In the fact that like you would have your name on a list and your productivity is listed. And if you're not cutting it, if you're not seeing enough patients in the shortest amount of time, you are dinged or penalized for that compared to your colleagues. And I believe some places, and if anyone has experience with this, please let me know. Feel free to comment on this video. But some people would get raises based off of their productivity and other people would not. So let's say I'm someone who is working with patients and I take time with my patients. I take time to get to know them well, to know their unique health situation. And I end up getting penalized for giving quality care because my productivity isn't as high as, let's say, Jessica, who basically runs through her patients every 5 minutes and doesn't know their name and doesn't know their health problem, and potentially has created some problems for these patients because she's making decisions very quickly and not giving them the time and the thoughtfulness that these patients deserve, especially those with chronic, more complex conditions. So those who've heard me talk before, you know that I value quality time, quality support, and valuing people and their health over productivity numbers and the money that's being generated. We have to make revenue. People need to have an income. I need an income too, but not at the sacrifice of quality. So I'm going to give you a couple stories. We're going to do some story time. I have plenty of stories. I probably should write a book about this. But at this point, I will just try to share some stories with you if you haven't heard them before. Some people might have heard some of these. But first story I'm going to share with you is due to my chronic digestive issues, I saw several gastrointestinal doctors over my 7-year struggles. I will never forget this one particular GI doctor. My first appointment with him, he insisted on prescribing a reflux medication. Now, mind you, I had not shared with him any concerns about reflux. I knew a lot about reflux. I knew common signs of reflux, and I was not experiencing any of them. However, he insisted on prescribing a reflux medication for me. Just to give you some context there. My second appointment with this man, I come to the appointment, I arrive early. I think I was maybe like 10 minutes early. And no lie, this man is pacing around the waiting room at the office where he works when I arrive and just could not wait for me to arrive for my appointment. So I get to the appointment, and this is about how the appointment goes. Hey, how is it going with your reflux medication? Everything going well? Everything good? Again, did not have reflux problems, did not want to be taking a reflux medication. And he wanted to talk about how that medicine was going. Basically, I think the conversation went about as much as I'm doing well. And he was like, great, let's wrap this up. Cha-ching. You pay your copay, we'll get the money from the insurance. We'll see you later. That's pretty much how the appointment went. Can you relate? Have you had appointments like that? So I've had other people share with me that their appointments are very like, let's chit chat, let's talk about life, instead of addressing the person's health issues and actually hearing them out about the problems. Nobody, I don't think anybody wants to pay for a copay, and nor should insurance be covering something where it's just a session to chit chat and not actually help people with their health. So that's another issue. So that was my story as far as not being heard, being prescribed something that was not appropriate. Looking back, it certainly was not appropriate given the knowledge that I have now about digestive issues and what I was experiencing. And also just the revolving door, quick, get you in, get you out, don't really care about you. The way that feels to the patient, I can certainly relate because I have been in many scenarios like that. The second story that I want to share with you is from my own personal experience. And I had a huge stack of records, files from my 7 years of health struggles, as you can imagine. This was before the records went more electronic. So when I would leave a practice or over those 7 years, I would have a lot of files and papers to carry along with me to the next practitioner. And unfortunately, because I wasn't getting answers, those files, those records started to stack up more and more. Would have been nice if I had maybe 1 or 2 doctors or 1 or 2 practitioners that could have helped me solve the problem, and that stack would have been a lot smaller, right? So I had this stack of files, and every time I went to an appointment, they would ask me sometimes similar questions. You know, how long has this problem been going on? Like, tell us all of your history. And I'm like, how much time do you have? Because I have 7 years to try to capture for you. It was very stressful in itself, just trying to relay everything that I had tried, everything that had been done, all of the people I had seen in those 7 years. So here's what happened. So I go to a large medical company, medical establishment, corporation in my local area. And they had given me an appointment to meet with a specialist. Once again, I'm trying to remember what kind of specialist it was. But again, a lot of it was related to, again, my gastrointestinal health due to my digestive issues. And at the appointment, there was the main doctor and also a resident. So they were training, they were teaching this resident, which is awesome. Everyone has to learn. And so I was fine with that, although it can be a little awkward. You are not only relaying all your health challenges of 7 years to one person, but now you're doing it to 2 people. And I felt really hopeful, excited after the appointment because the doctor said, we're going to review all of this information, all of these records that you've taken the time to bring to us and compile, and we're going to problem solve and try to figure out some things for you. So I'm like, finally, maybe I've found the person that really is invested in me and helping me to get some more answers here. Well, dun, dun, dun. Fast forward to my follow-up appointment, my second appointment with them. I was taken back to a waiting room. I'm sitting in the waiting room, or not, it was like the patient room, I'm sorry. So taken from the waiting room to the patient room, sitting in there. I don't recall exactly how long it was, but I would guess it was probably a good 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm like, kind of weird, like where are these doctors? And then finally I started to hear something outside the door, and I heard the doctor or one of the doctors saying to the other, I don't see an appointment. Like, it's not in our Palm Pilot. Like, I didn't know about this appointment. Well, as you can probably guess, that was the doctor or the doctor and the resident that I was supposed to meet with and follow up with. So they end up coming in and telling me that they did not realize that I had an appointment. And so when I asked them, well, does that mean that you did not go through my records? You didn't, try to problem solve this for me? They were like, no, because we didn't even know that you had an appointment. And I was so furious, so upset. As you can probably imagine why. I had taken time off of work to go to this appointment. I had taken all the time to compile the records and to provide everything that this medical establishment had asked of me. I was prepared, and yet they had completely forgotten that I had an appointment and taken me back to a patient room. And still, the doctors did not arrive on time and did not even know that I had an appointment. So needless to say, I said, I am not paying a copay, or you will be refunding me this copay because you're not prepared for this appointment. And this is unacceptable. And it truly was. So those are just 2 of many stories that I could share with you about my runaround with the medical system. And again, like I said, I'm not here to just complain or to point fingers or whatever, because there are great practitioners out there. But I'm talking about the system as a whole. And so what my major concern is that it's a sick care system. there are things that are only being covered because the insurance, or they're being done because it's covered by insurance, not because it's necessarily best for the patient. It is reinforcing small amounts of time with the patient rather than quality time and actually getting to know the patient. And literally, a system like that is killing people. It's killing practitioners. I hear people all the time leaving the field because they are tired, sick and tired of doing a job that is ineffective and harming people. And so you have the burnout factor for those professionals who truly care about their patients. And then you also have the patient themselves who are dealing with issues, health issues. That's why they're coming to the practitioner, and they are being bounced around, what I think of as like a ping pong ball, just being passed all around, or being on that revolving door and feeling like they can never get out of that revolving door, spending a lot of money, a lot of time and energy, and sometimes never getting off that hamster wheel or out of that revolving door. And like I said earlier in the video, sadly, they're in that time, and where that time and money and energy is being wasted, that person is getting sicker and sicker. And sadly, some people die in that sick care system before they can ever get out of that revolving door hamster wheel that they're on. To me, it's very sad, and it needs to change. But I can't change the whole system, but what I can do is be different. And so in my health coaching services, in the support that I provide, I do the opposite. I focus on quality. I focus on spending time with people. I focus on getting to know them as a unique human being. Sometimes I have people ask me, like, how are you different? What do you do? Like, and I'm happy to share that with them, but some people don't seem to get it. They seem to think that I treat people the same way because maybe that's the way they're used to. And I'm like, no, we need to meet. We need to spend quality time together for me to be able to give you more details as to what I would suggest for you. I'm not going to be able to make any suggestions to you without first getting to know you better and your unique situation. I am not a cookie cutter approach person. While there might be some common themes between people that I support, each person is unique and deserves to be treated that way. And so let's see here. Tying in with that, the cookie cutter approach, a lot of people joke about the whole, like, Oprah, she would give out the gifts, like, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car. Everybody gets the car. That is not my approach to helping people in my health coaching. What this person gets is going to be tailored to this person. What this person gets is going to be tailored to them and their health history, their background that they've shared with me. And so do not ask me how I do things every time. They are going to be different because it is based on the unique individual. So let me know if you have any questions. If you've seen my post, you know that I am currently scheduling initial wellness consults with people. I do have availability to meet with people and to dig deeper into health challenges. And I would encourage you to be proactive, even if the system that we're currently in prefers to be reactive or hands off or to give you only 5 minutes. We need to combat that because it isn't normal. It isn't what people deserve. And so, like I said, I can do my part to be different, to be the change. And so maybe what I'll do is I'll leave you with this. How can you be part of the change in this system? Changing and shifting from a sick care system to a system that values each person's individual body and health history and health background, and that gives people quality care. I would say off the top of my head, that might look like that you support businesses that have those values, and that you would invest in services from people that you know truly care and that have hearts for truly helping people versus just churning in a profit. And it's like manufactured services. Some things they feel so quick and constantly like churning things out because that is the system. It's productivity. It's about making more money and to the expense of the people. And so, look at ways that you can support businesses that care about people first and foremost. And I will say that is my number one priority in everything that I do, is helping the people that I work with, whether it's in my speech therapy or my health coaching. And know that if you choose to invest in my support, that I will be putting you first and foremost. And my goal is to support you in upgrading your health and your life truly. And we partner together in that. So thank you so much for tuning in, and let me know if you have any questions, and let me know if you'd like to book some time together, quality time, to really help you get going in a positive direction because you deserve it. Have a great night. Bye.